Hello and welcome to Rathod's IAS. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 24th August 2022. So let's get started with our discussion. So this is summary of the session. So you are going to get a quote and we are going to discuss editorials of The Hindu. Apart from editorials, we are also going to focus on some important articles of Hindu and as well as other important sources like Indian Express, Down to Earth, PIB, etc. And we are also going to give you some mains practice questions and prelims practice questions at end so that you can understand how questions will be coming in this topics. Okay, we are also going to discuss some previous year's questions of mains and prelims which are relevant to that so and so topic, and we are also going to give you some important words, that is vocabulary, that you can use in your mains. So now let us try to say today's quote. So today's quote is also a motivational quote. So this quote says that you have got to get up every morning with determination if you are going to bed with satisfaction. So always I will be focusing that you need to have a daily targets. For example, I have to complete 2 chapters in polity and I have to give one prelims test and I have to write one mains answer. Okay, so in this way, if you are having limited targets, so I'm not talking about bulky targets, like some people will be having hefty targets like I have to complete 3 chapters in polity, I have to complete 3 or 4 chapters in geography, 2 chapters in economy. So try to make your targets that will be achievable targets but not beyond your limits. Okay, so if you are having the targets when you are not reaching that hefty targets, means so you are not going to go to bed with satisfaction. So if you are not having the satisfaction whenever you are going to bed, and next day morning you are not going to get up with the determination, so determination levels will be decreased and finally output will be decreased. So if you want to increase your outputs, so keep small targets and that targets you have to achieve on that day, and finally you have to go bed with satisfaction. So how many of you are going to have little and achievable targets from today? So let me know in the comment box who are going to be in this race of UPSC, that is Mission UPSC. So now let us try to see the first topic. It is regarding Supreme Court judges rules. So why it is in news? So recently our government amended rules of the Supreme Court judges, especially they are going to entitle like accommodation in Delhi for the next 6 months with the free of cost, that is without any paying rent. So why this is in news? Because our CJI, present CJI is N.V. Ramana sir, he is going to retire on August 26th. So because of this, so this amendment made by the government. And now let us go deep into this topic. So here one exercise I want to give you here is, so please open your Lakshmikant and try to go through this chapter of Supreme Court. Especially you have to know about the Supreme Court judges, what are the qualifications. You have to refer about this collegium system. There you will come across first judge case, second judge case, third judge case and fourth judge case. You need to know about what is this NJAC Act. So why Supreme Court struck down this NJAC Act, and you have to know about some service conditions for the Supreme Court judges. Okay, so here these are some important exercise that you have to do, and this is your homework. And let me know how many of you are going to do this homework and how many of you done this homework after referring this topic. Let me know in the comment box. Accountability is important in this UPSC preparation. So if you are talking about why it is in news, our government of India amended Supreme Court judges rules, and now from now onwards you are going to get even free type 7 accommodation in Delhi for 6 months from the date of superannuation, that is retirement. So from the date of retirement for next 6 months, so they are going to get free accommodation in Delhi without paying any rent. So why it is important? So after once judges of the Supreme Court they retired, yes, they can go for other employment, but they need to have cooling off period. They need to maintain this cooling off period. So in this cooling off period, so there might be some influence. Okay, for example, if I am working as a Supreme Court judge, for example, after once my retirement is done, so I can I am eligible to go for any committee, and I may be the member of any committee, or for example I may act as CEO of any other company. So for example, if there is any case which is present before me and I have to hear that case, means so here sometimes, so there will be influence of that so and so person on me, on my judgment. Mainly to maintain independence of judiciary, yes, there is a cooling off period that is mandatory, okay, for this court judges, especially the Supreme Court judges. So mainly to maintain independence of judiciary, yes, this cooling off period is very much important. So in this cooling off period also, mainly now government which is providing the free accommodation for 6 months after the retirement to ensure the independence of judiciary. So it is one important case study that you can write in your ethics also. So if you are talking about the details, so a notification which issued by the Ministry of Law and Justice said that accommodation would be other than designated official residence. So it is not the official destination, okay, official designated residence, but it is other than that, but there is no need of payment of rent for 6 months. So the amended rules added that retired Chief Justice and judges of Supreme Court, they shall be entitled a chauffeur. Chauffeur means nothing but driver, and also secretarial assistant and round the clock security cover in addition to his or her personal security guard for a period of 1 year from the date of retirement. So actually under this rules, so they are going to provide one driver, secretariat assistant, and as well as a security cover. But now they are also going to provide accommodation for 6 months. So the rules mandated that retired Chief Justice and the judges, they should be extended as per protocol courtesies at the commercial locks at the airport also. So actually, so where the amendments mainly done in this act, that is Supreme Court Judges Salaries and Conditions of Service Act of 1958. So in 2013, there was a decision of Supreme Court. So it said that former ministers, MPs, and even retired judges, government servants, they are overstaying in the bungalows beyond the allotted period. So it should not be done. Okay, so this is about this topic, and this topic can be used as a case study. And now let us try to see the editorial. It is talking about 5G technology. So the implication of this 5G rollout for law enforcement. So yes, at present we are using this 4G technology in our mobile phones. So we are going to get this 5G technology soon in our country. Okay, so what is the difference here? So I want to share one experience. So whenever I used to do my graduation, or whenever I entered into this UPSC preparation, so at that time we have just a 2G networks, but not even 3G. So in that 2G networks, so we can only just browse the Google, but with that 2G network we can't go for watching of YouTube videos. But at that time there was not much sources, and I can say that you are very much lucky. You will be getting daily news analysis on YouTube, and even there were many platforms you are providing the good content on YouTube. Okay, on YouTube and as well as some websites. But at that time when we were in the preparation, so we have just a 2G. So this 2G can be used only for the calls, and that too for the browsing it used to take a lot of time. So at that time we used to mostly rely on this newspapers, and we have to read this newspaper for sure, and we have to depend upon the standard books etc. to write our examination. But it is not the condition now. So at that time getting of test series also very hard, and we have to pay a lot of money, and if we are from middle income class, we do not offer for the going for the test series also. But it is not the condition now. You will be getting online test which are of free of cost, and you will be getting test series which are of affordable cost on this online now. Okay, so by this 2G technology, yes, we used to have message balance, and we used to text to our friends regarding if there is any doubts. Okay, and at that time, so we used to have high prices. So if you want to talk for 1 minute, we have to pay 1 rupee. Okay, but now if you are paying so and so package, then you will be having the unlimited calls. But it was not the time, it was not that same condition at that time when we were doing our preparation. So yes, from 1G there is a development to 2G, and from 2G 3G, and now we are in the era of 4G, and soon we are going to get this 5G. Okay, so as we all know, technology which is upgrading day by day. Not only in this telecom services, in every field, yes, we are going for advancement in our technology. So whenever you are going with the advancement in our technology, yes, we will be having advantages. Yes, we are going for the development and we are improving our standard of living. Not only that advantages, on another side, we will be also having some challenges. So this article which is talking about what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of this 5G rollout in our country. So this topic is at most important and you can expect a mains question from this topic for sure. So now let us try to understand this topic. So why it is in news? Our Prime Minister, that is Narendra Modi ji, he recently announced that 5G deployment in India will be commenced soon in our country. Okay, we are going to have this 5G soon, and there are many reports which suggest that government, they are going to launch 5G, okay, at the inauguration of this India Mobile Congress on September 29. On September 29, we are going to have this launch of 5G inauguration. Okay, so this is the information that we have regarding when we are going to have this 5G, that is in the September 29. So on September 29, we have this launch of this 5G technology. And as you all know that, upgradation from this 4G to 5G, it is a long waited. And many countries already came up with this 5G technology, and in India we are going to have this 5G technology soon. So with this 5G, yes, we are going to expect like ultra fast internet speeds, and we are also going to get seamless connectivity across the country when we are comparing with this 4G. So when we are comparing with this 4G, yes, we will be having very fast internet. And because of this, we can also connect seamlessly without any interruptions. So now, if you're talking about advantages of this 5G technology, then compared to that of normal civilians, for this law enforcement agencies, they will be having much more benefits. So now, let us try to see what is this 5G technology. So 5G technology is nothing but in this LTE. So if you open your mobile, you will be getting signal like this, and on this signal you can see LTE. So in this LTE, not only LTE, you can also see sometimes VoLTE, VoLTE. So this is a 5G technology. So this technology which operates in millimeter wave spectrum, that is from 30 to 300 gigahertz, and which is having a very fast internet speed, and we can also send large amounts of data at a very high speeds, because we are having a very high frequency, and it's also experiencing little interference from the surrounding signals. So we cannot see much interference, okay, or we cannot see much interruptions also in this sending of the large amount of files. So now let us try to see what is the differences between this 4G and 5G technology. So if you're talking about time delay in this 4G, it is like 10 milliseconds, but in this 5G it is less than 1 millisecond. And the number of mobile links through this 4G will be like 8 billion links, but through this 5G we can extend the links to 11 billion. And channels of broadband, here we can use this 20 megahertz to 200 megahertz, but here we have 100 megahertz and 400 megahertz. So it is very high speed, that I can say. And if you're talking about available channel, so we will be having 30 gigahertz, but here we 3 gigahertz in this 4G and 30 gigahertz in this 5G. And these also have important differences between this 4G and 5G. So what will be the advantages? So if you're talking from the law enforcement agencies, yes, 5G will be very helpful for increasing of efficiency. So if they are doing any investigation, so with this investment, with this internet and high internet speed, yes, there will be high efficiency, and even the productivity will be increased, and the security of the police access will also be very high. Okay, so in this way it will be having the advantages for this enforcement agencies. So apart from this, so when we are using this 5G, the latency period is low. That means, so the time that will be taken, for example, if you are typing something in the Google and you are browsing, sometimes it will be rotating like this. So this is the latency period. So latency period, if you are using this 5G, that will be very less. So if you are using this 2G signal, it used to rotate like 1 minute, 2 minutes at that time. But now by using this 3G and 4G, yes, we are having somewhat fast. And if you are using this 5G, it will be still more fast. So 5G has high bandwidth and low latency period, and in this way it will be having improved efficiency in this police devices. For example, they will be using these body cameras to identify if there is any person who is carrying any metal related items like guns, knives, etc. And facial recognition technology, automatic number plate recognition, drones and CCTVs, etc. So 5G has a high bandwidth and also low latency period. So in this way it will be helpful in the increased performance of police devices. So what are those police devices? As you know, they will be using like body cams and facial recognition technology and even metal detectors. So if you are entering into any shopping mall, there will be the metal detectors at the entry, and even in the temples also nowadays, especially some famous temples also, they will be having this metal detectors and automatic number plate recognition. Okay, so especially in this automatic number plate detection technology, it is very helpful, especially if you are moving on these outer ring roads. So if you are crossing the speed limits, automatically your vehicle will be attracted with the challans, and even if you are violating the traffic rules also, so automatically we will be having some CC cameras and they will be capturing the images. So for this 5G technology is very important, and 5G also promises to transmit clearer images. So if you are using this 3G and 4G, so somewhat the clarity of images will be missed, but with the use of this 5G, the clarity of images will be increased, and also this will simplify the task of the police, who at present often look at hazy images from the devices and attempted to decipher them while working on the cases. So because of lack of technology, even though, for example, if you are using this 4G technology and if you are chasing so and so person, and if you are seeing that so and so person crossed that so and so check post, so at that time you will be taking the CC cameras of that area and you will be finding the whether who is that person. And if the image is not clear, means sometimes you have to do some attempts, like you have to decipher them. For example, you have to bring some people who will be like painting, okay, they are experts in the drawing, painting, etc., and by using them we are going to define that so and so person. So if you are having good technology, there is no need of this, because we are going to get the cleaner images. And by using this 5G technology, yes, there will be also a scope of increasing of storage capacity as well. It will be helpful for rapid and secure communication, and even with this 5G, the police can remotely access and they can analyze the crime data and information from other infrastructure, for example traffic lights, etc. So if you're talking about some more important things or advantages regarding this 5G, or yes, by using this 5G services, that will also have a chance to improve applicability or accessibility of the services. For example, we can also use this 5G services in our banking sector. So if you go to a bank, so everything which happens to this computer systems, etc. So for this, internet is very important. So mobile banking and for healthcare, and to get or to improve opportunities, and especially to improve the employment for this unemployed people. So this will be very helpful. And Indian policymakers, they can also educate and empower the citizens and businessmen, especially that will help to transform smart and as well as innovative cities. For example, we came up with this gift city in Gujarat, and it will be also having some socio-economic benefits also. So this 5G technology will also allow the citizens to get some socio-economic benefits. For example, so whenever they are getting the proper services through the online, they will be get satisfied, and they will be feeling that yes, well advanced technology is there in our country, and there is a more data intensive and digital economy, so that we can promote all these areas. And 5G technologies, they can be used for agriculture, and they can be used for smart farming in our future as well. Okay, so here by using this RFID radio frequency, and as well as you can use this GPS services, so farmers, they can also track the location of livestock and where they are present, and that will be helpful for easy management of this livestock also. And even we can use some sensors in this irrigation canals, such that we can have the proper energy access and as well as energy management. And even this 5G technology can be used in the medical practitioners also, medical areas. For example, by using the robots, or we can go for this laparoscopy techniques. So that can be done by this internet, using of this internet. Okay, so these are some important advantages of this 5G technology. And if you're talking about what are the challenges that we are facing, for example, if we need to use this 5G technology, so what about the infrastructure? What about the infrastructure? So whatever the infrastructure that we are having now, it is outdated infrastructure and is not going to support this 5G technology. And law enforcement agencies, they get access to secure data from these telecom operators, and they have to get some important tools to go for analyzing of the data. Okay, so one more thing here is, so if you want to bridge this technology gap, is we need to do some investment in the modern tools. You need to do some investment in the software, infrastructure, etc. But it will require some huge amount of funds. So there is a lack of funds. And even if you are talking about this 5G network, so 5G, it is a software which defined digital routing, okay, and even it is also susceptible for the cyber threats or cyber attacks, for example botnet attacks, etc. So it is also one important cause of concern. And one more thing here is, so if you are using WhatsApp, so whenever you are typing message to anybody, so you can see there is a end-to-end encryption. So you can't, there is a high amount of security that is given to your account. Okay, so there is end-to-end encryption. So whenever there is end-to-end encryption, so we can't go for coming back, or we can't go and we can't see the messages. Okay, even if you are conducting some criminal investigation, so and so you can't get the data. Okay, so here in this 5G technology, it is mainly having one loophole, that is there is lack of end-to-end encryption. So because of this, hackers, they can plot their attacks more precisely, and even that will help to penetrate the cyber crimes into society. And next one here is, yes, it will be also useful for civilians, but on another side it will be also useful for the terrorists. So terrorists, they can also get benefit from this high 5G technology because of this high speed internet. So it mainly allows them to execute the attacks more rapidly and as well as precisely. So it is one cause of concern. And next one here is, 5G connects with the additional devices. For example, the frequency of attack can also increase. Okay, and we are facing one important problem in India, that is digital divide. So digital haves and digital have-nots. So because of this 5G, that will further divide this haves and as well as have-nots. So this is about this topic in detail, and I hope you understand this. Now let us move on to next topic. It is regarding reviving remission. So this article, it is talking about this Bilkis Bano case. Okay, so this article already we discussed. Okay, now let us try to see what is this article trying to say, and it is giving some important insights into the remission. So we are going to discuss that. So this topic is important from your polity point of view, which comes under your GS paper 2. So already you know that recently a committee which formed by Gujarat government released 11 convicts in this Bilkis Bano case. Okay, and they came up with the they mainly relied on this remission policy of 1992 instead of the current policy of 2014, and they gave the remission for these 11 convicts of this Bilkis Bano case. So we are talking about the remission laws in India. So we have one important act, that is Prison Act of 1894. So this act, which mainly defines remission as a system of rules for the time being enforced, regulating the award of marks to and consequent shortening of sentences of prisoners in jail. So according to this Prisoners Act of 1994, it talks about what is a remission. Remission means nothing but shortening of the sentences. Okay, for example, 14 years of life imprisonment is there. So we are decreasing to 8 years or 10 years like that. So whenever there is decreasing or shortening of sentences, that is called as remission under this Prison Act of 1894. So as per the law, so we are having three kinds of remissions. For example, constitutional remission, for example, statutory remission, and as well as those which are present according to this jail manuals. Okay, jail manuals. So there are three types of remissions. First one is constitutional remissions, second one is statutory remission, and third one is which are present in the jail manuals. So if you're talking about some constitutional provisions, yes, Article 72 of Indian Constitution and Article 161 of Indian Constitution talks about the pardoning powers of President and as well as Governor respectively. And even some important codes, for example, important sections in our code, that is section 432 of Code of Criminal Procedure, so which empowers the appropriate government to suspend or remit the sentence as of a prisoner. Okay, so if you're talking about this section 432, which says that yes, government can suspend or government can remit the sentence. And section 435 of Criminal Procedure Code, which says that so whenever the cases they are investigated by this Delhi Special Police Establishment Act, that is under CBI, yes, whenever they are under CBI, so that decision that should be taken along with the consultation with the central government. So these are some important provisions of the bill. So now you will understand why I discussed about this remission bills in India. So at the last of this article, don't worry about that. So we are talking about many activists, they are doing protest regarding this remission of this 11 convicts of this Bilkis Banu case, because so these were the brutal criminals, I can say. So they did the gang rape and they murdered at least 7 people from the so-and-so family in this 2002 riots, okay, Godhra riots in this Gujarat state. So the remission was based on the direction that 2-judge bench of Supreme Court on petition by one of the convict. So one of the convict, he made petition to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court, based on this 2-judge bench, they gave the remission to this 11 convicts. So there were at least two grounds on which remission appears illegal. So yes, this appeal or this remission which is mainly appearing like illegal because so state government made a decision its own without consulting the center. So as this case which is mainly dealt by the CBI, so instead of consulting with the center, so state took the decisions on its own. Okay, so if you're talking about what is this remission policy of 1992, so this policy says that convicts who on and after 18th December 1978, they served out of this 14 clear years of imprisonment, they can be released on this premature, that is before completing of imprisonment, yes, they can be released. So it does not explicitly define the nature of the crime of the thing which considered here. Okay, so this is the thing regarding this remission policy. So what is the need? So author mainly says that Supreme Court need to constitute a bench of sufficient size, because the judgment which is given by the 2 judgments, now we need to have the higher judgment, and they have to consider the judgments in this remission policy obtained on the date of conviction. Okay, and next one here is, so there are also some important questions that need to be addressed here is whether the state where the crime happened or the state where the trial was transferred, they need to take the decision. Okay, so these are the 2 important questions which mainly posed by author. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding Chinese technological forms. So this is a one important topic and also interesting topic, I can say. So now let us try to discuss this topic. So this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under international relations. So I will try to give you the 360 degrees dimension of this topic. So first let us try to see why it is in news. So if we are talking about why it is in news, here we have Chinese telecom company. So this is one of the biggest Chinese telecom company, that is Huawei. So what are the things that are manufactured by this Huawei? So I want to give you a basic example that you might see in your home. So for example, if you are taking an internet connection, so to get Wi-Fi and to use this Wi-Fi in your mobile, so you will be having a router. So this is one example of the manufacturing of this router. So many a times we can see these routers, they are mainly made up of this Huawei company. So this is at a very basic level, but if you are having one telecom industry, or if in this telecom industry, if you want to extend your internet service or telecom service, yes, you will have to manufacture some towers. So in these towers also here Huawei, which mainly produces these towers, and some equipment which is very much helpful for this 5G technology. Okay, so here this Chinese telecom company said that we are going to decrease our size in this R&D, especially in India. So they are going to decrease this research and development of facilities in India. Okay, so it is one of the important thing that we need to focus. So other than this Huawei, there are also other telecom industries. For example, sector peers ZTE, Vivo, Xiaomi, Oppo, they are also had their offices searched in the past few months, and this is believed to be the part of series of government measures aimed at checking this Chinese corporate influence in the country. So as you all know, with this COVID-19 which entered into our country, so we came up with the banning of Chinese apps. For example, TikTok. Yes, we used to use that TikTok a lot, but now there is no TikTok. There was banning of this TikTok, and even number of Chinese based apps they had been banned. Okay, and now here there are some measures that are taken by the governments, that is to control this Chinese corporate influence. For example, they are conducting some income tax raids, etc. So this is the issue. So if we're talking about details, it mainly says that in India, Vivo, Xiaomi, Oppo, they have been broadly accused of tax evasions and discharging some illegal remittances and forced indications and incorrect disclosures. So because of all these allegations, yes, they are mainly accused. Okay, so if you're talking about some data about across this world, Chinese companies, they had been disfavored for providing the critical information for essential telecommunication services. So as you all know, this Huawei, it is a Chinese company, so it will be having some linkages with this Chinese government. So because of this, many countries, they feel that whenever there is entry of this Huawei, and whenever this Huawei says that you are going to have manufacturing unit in your so and so country, so there is some fear of security that comes into the government of that so and so country, and most of the times they had been disfavored to come up with industries in some countries like US, UK, Australia, and as well as New Zealand. Okay, so first important issue here is security concern. So recently, even Donald Trump, he banned this Huawei because of the security reasons. So on multiple occasions, yes, China has been accused by the cyber attacks aimed at collecting information of a sovereign's critical infrastructure. Yes, here there are many times we can say that there are many reports says that Chinese, they had been accused in the cyber attacks. And not only that, even if you see the data given by this North American cybersecurity firm, they recorded that in October 2020, so what are the reasons for this disruption of electricity in the Mumbai region? So because of this red hacker group, that is Red Eco, and this has some relation to this Galwan Valley incident. And next one here is March last year. So another cyber intelligence firm, that is Cypherma, which reported that these Chinese state-backed group had targeted IT systems of Indian vaccine makers. So there is also one study that this Cypherma, so which mainly attacked the IT systems of this Indian vaccine makers, Bharat Biotech and as well as Serum Institute of India. So in the Serum Institute of India and as well as Bharat Biotech, so they are the leading pharmaceutical companies in India, and they played an important role especially during this COVID-19 period, because this Bharat Biotech and Serum Institute of India, they came up with the vaccines production. For example, you can talk about Covishield, you can talk about Covaxin, etc. So these are the vaccines, they came up from this Bharat Biotech and as well as Serum Institute of India. So as you all know that India, which is very much well performing in this pharmaceutical sector, right, and we are exporting lot of amount of the generic medicines to the other countries also. So in this context, so Chinese companies, they also did some cyber attack on this companies, that is a Bharat Biotech and also Serum Institute of India's information technology system, that is the system they are using, okay, to get some information regarding how they are manufacturing these vaccines. So not only that, even Vodafone and Microsoft, they also spoken about the attacks which are done by these Chinese firms, okay, that they are called as state sponsored actors. So this is the data which says about, yes, whenever we are allowing these Chinese companies into the country, yes, there is a threat on their security, because they are going to capture some sensitive information regarding, so how many military bases are there, so where the military bases are present, and some missiles, so some critical information, because these companies, they will be having links with their government. Okay, so what is the impact? So whenever we are banning, or whenever we are doing some IT raids on these companies, so whenever there is downsizing of this R&D in India, then what will be happen? For example, it will create unemployment, because so it is mainly offering jobs to lot of number of Indians, especially in India. So whenever there is a downsizing or removing of the company means, yes, it will mainly leads to the unemployment of the people who are working in these areas. And next one here is, it will be also having some impact on these Chinese smartphones. Yes, in India the Chinese smartphones had a lot of market, for example Redmi phones. And this one here is investment. So if other countries know about so and so issue which is happening in the India, so whenever any company which is coming and establishing its establishment in the India, so whenever there are some rates by income tax etc means, so it will also affect the investment that used to come to India. And as we all know that we are mainly fighting a lot for the good ease of doing business ranking which is given by the World Bank, but because of this type of incident, that will also lead to decreasing of this ease of doing banking rank of India, and that will affect the future private investments in India. And next one here is, it also affects the technological upgradation. So as you all know, this Huawei, which is providing 5G technology, which is at affordable cost or the low cost than compared to the other indigenous companies. So here, whenever we are mainly not accepting this Huawei means, so it will be having some impact on our technological upgradation also. So as you all know that if you go to any China bazaar, okay, that will be present in our cities, right? So if you are taking some indigenous good and if you are taking that China product, so cost of this China will be always come less than compared to that of this indigenous products. And next one here is, so as we all know that the relationship between India and China, it is all-time low now. So because of this Galwan Valley incident and because of this standoff across this LAC region, and there is no status quo till now, okay, this issue started in 2020. But now in this 2022 also, even though we went for different rounds of talks, okay, but there is no resolving of this issue, right? And even there is issue regarding this Russia, Ukraine as well, and even regarding Rohingyas also. Okay, so there are differences. Okay, so this might be the impact of this Huawei company in India. So now let us move on to next topic. It is regarding sex ratio. So sex ratio at birth normalizes slightly, says the study. So I want to give you one homework, students. What is sex ratio? Let me know in the comment box. So what is sex ratio? So sex ratio at birth normalizes slightly. So here I want to give you some idea regarding this. What are the reasons for the low sex ratio in India? So yes, we came up with this upgradation of technology. Now we are having ultrasound machinery in our country, that is nothing but scanning, right? So in this scanning, especially after the 5 months, okay, during the 5 months or after the 5 months, yes, we can easily identify the sex of the fetus, whether it is a female or male. So whenever we know that it is a female, yes, many a times in our patriarchal society, and we are having son of soil preference, that we are mainly having the sons. So we are having a lot of affection towards son rather than the daughters. So why? Because son is very important for a family, because so if there are parents are going to die means, so final rights to be done by the son, not by the daughter. And son, he will be doing some economic activity and that will be helpful for the family. And if you are having a daughter, so you have to get married to your daughter, so that you have to give some dowry. Okay, dowry is also prevalent now, and because of this dowry also, here daughter is considered as a loss to the family, not a gain for the family. And even if a daughter is there, so the parents are not going for even providing the proper education, proper food for the child than compared to that of boy. And I want to share you one thing. So I was from a family that we are 3 sisters, and I didn't found any type of discrimination between the girls and a boy in my family, and I am very, very lucky in this part. So now let's go on to this topic and let us try to see this topic in detail. And this sex ratio is very important, and I want to give you one tip for my students here is, so please try to find the sex ratio of your state especially, and especially in your district if possible. So that might be your prelims question, not prelims but it is my interview question. And even I can say, like in interview, one more question will be followed here is, what are the reasons? If there is a good sex ratio, so what are the reasons for the good sex ratio? And if there is a bad sex ratio, so what is the reasons for this bad sex ratio? And what can be the measures taken by the government to improve this sex ratio? So these will be the 3 or 4 set of questions that follows in your interview. So please, so you can be prepared, okay, earlier itself. Okay, try to do some research on this sex ratio topic and let me know in the comment box. So now let us try to see the context. So latest study which done by this Peer Research Center, and this research which found out that son bias is on decline in India, as the average annual number of baby girls or missing in the country fell from 4,80,000 to 4,10,000. So here you have to understand what is this missing baby girls. So what is the concept of this missing baby girls? So missing refers to how many more female births would have occurred during this time if there were no female selective abortions. So if you found in ultrasound that so and so fetus is a girl, they will be going for termination, right? So yes, pregnancy abortion it is not banned in India because we have this Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act of 1971. So through this, yes, abortion it is illegal in it is not illegal, but that abortion should be done within the following time period, that is within 20 weeks according to this 1971 Act. So if you know that so and so fetus is a female, yes, you can go for abortion. But here what happens if you are going for abortion, that is a female selective abortions, yes, it will be having some alterations in the sex ratio. So the sex ratio will be decreased. So the number of girls for the boys will be decreased. So whenever there is less number of girls than compared to that of boys, yes, after they enter into the adolescent age, yes, that will lead to some socio-economic problems. So more number of boys, they are not going to get the girls to marry. Right? So in that way, here one girl should marry 2 or more boys. So it is prevalent, especially in some tribal groups. Okay, where the girl population is low, whenever there is a boys population is high, yes, they have to go for polygamy. There is no option. Correct? So this will be also leading to some socio-economic causes. So missing refers how many more girls birth or how many more female births would have occurred during this time if there were no female selective abortions. So if we are talking about history, so why there is an alteration of the sex ratio? So the problem which began in India during 1970s with the developments in the technology. So it mainly because of availability of prenatal diagnostic technology in India, so that allowed for this sex selective abortions. So we are talking about the data regarding the sex ratio. So in 1950s to 1960s, it was like 105 male boys for every 100 female girls. But here during this 1970, it decreased to for 105 boys, we have 100 girls. And in 1980s, it was like 108 boys, we have just 100 girls. And in 1990s, it reached a peak, it reached to 110 boys, they will be having just 110 girls. So from a large imbalance about of 111 boys per 100 girls that is seen in this 2011 census, and after that government took number of steps, like even the district collectors, they took some steps, like so in this diagnosis centers, so they strictly came up with a law that so whenever there is revealing of the sex of the fetus, it is a offensible offense and it is also punishable, and you will be having the jail term and also the fine. So even if you are going to any diagnosis centers, especially they are doing scans for the pregnancy, so they will be taking one declaration that we are not disclosed the sex of the fetus, and they will be also taking the Aadhaar card details now. And nowadays, one more thing I found here is they are not telling even the heart rate of the baby. So with this heart rate also we can identify the sex of the baby. But nowadays, so here this heart rate is also not telling by the people, by the doctors who are doing this scans, it is radiologist. And even there are law which is mainly came up that we should not reveal the sex of this fetus. Okay, so these are some important steps, and because of that now we can see there is somewhat sex ratio, it is going to be balanced in the future. So this is about this topic. I hope it is clear, and now let us try to see some more important articles. Title says new overseas investment rules issued by Center for Ease of Doing Business. So this article is much more important. For example, there were many loan defaulters. For example, you can talk about Vijay Mallya, you can talk about diamond merchant, that is Nirav Modi, and not only these two people, there were number of defaulters that you can see they came from India, and they are going to other countries and simply they are investing the money in the other countries. Okay, so because of this, here now we came up with new rules to curtail this investment in the other countries, especially by these loan defaulters. So this article is important from your GS paper 3 under economy point of view. So now let us try to understand this topic. So loan defaulters and entities under probe need NOC, no objection certificate, to invest in the overseas, especially if there is any loan defaulter is there. So if you want to invest money in other countries, so to invest now onwards they need to get no objection certificate. Okay, so if they are defaulting loan, how they can get this no objection certificate? So if there is no objection certificate means, if there is no objection certificate means they can't invest in the other countries. So it is as simple as that. So what is the aim here? So the new norms for Indian investors, they are aimed at making it easier for these domestic corporates to invest abroad, while making it tougher for the loan defaulters and other being probed by investigative agencies, regulators, if they want to shift funds out of the country. So from the country, yes, they are doing loan default, they are not paying the loans from where they are getting, for example, banks. So what happened, that loan, that amount they want to invest in the other countries after defaulting in so and so country. So if they want to invest in the other country, now onwards they need to get this no objection certificate. So in this way, if they are not getting no objection certificate means they can't invest in the other country. So in this way, we are tightening the rules, we are tightening this investment, right? So if you are talking about some details, so what are these new provisions? So first one here is, from now onwards, so new norms of this overseas investment rules and regulations, they will be considered under this FEMA, that is Foreign Exchange Management Act. So it is administered by RBI. So it is the first important change. And next one is, there are some sectors where we cannot go and do the investment. For example, real estate and as well as gambling. So there is no chance of investment in this real estate and as well as gambling. So these are no-go sectors. And NOC is very important. Okay, bank defaulters and some fraudsters, they need to get this no objection certificate, and it is very much required, okay, to get any assets or investment in the abroad. And next one is 60-day timeline. So if authorities or banks fail to furnish NOC within 60 days means it may be presumed that there is no objection from the transaction. So these are some new rules, and it is mainly focusing on tightening of this investment of this loan defaulters. So we're talking about overseas direct investment routes. So that can be through automatic route, that can be through approval route. Next one is prohibited activities. Automatic route means there is no need of approval from RBI, and from approval route means yes, RBI need to provide approval to invest in that so and so sector. And there are some prohibited activities. So in that areas we can't go for doing of any investment. For example, real estate, for example, banking and financial products, etc. So now, if you're talking about ease of doing business, so which is the organization going to give this ranking? That is World Bank. So World Bank will give this ease of doing a business ranking based on 10 sub indices. First one is starting of business. So if you want to start business, so what are the procedure that you need to follow, and what's the time that you are spending to get clearances, and what is the cost, and what is the minimum capital. So based on this is the first parameter. Second one is dealing with the construction permits. So if you want to go for construction, yes, for example, if you are going to construct your house, yes, you need to take the permission of municipality, and you need to take some permissions, and if you want to get electricity, you have to go for application, and if you want to get water supply, again you have to go to municipality and you have to get a permission, right? So in the same way, so if you want to start any business in your country, so what is the procedure that need to be followed for the construction, and what time, so in how much time period you are going to get the access or the permission from the different departments. So how much cost it will be required for the building of a warehouse, etc. And this one is getting procedure, getting electricity. So for getting this electricity also, yes, we need to get the permission. After that they will be giving you the lines and they will be supplying the electricity. And this one is registering property. So for the registering property, you have to go to the registration office, and it will take some time, right? So we have to book the slot, and on that slot we have to go to the register office and we have to give the necessary documents, and based on that, so how much time will be required. It is also next parameter. And one is getting credit. So if you want to start a business, yes, capital is very important. So if you are not having enough capital, yes, you will be approaching the banks and you will be getting the loans. So how much time you are taking to get the loans. And next one is paying taxes. So how many number of taxes you are paying. For example, if you are having a house, you have to pay the house tax, you have to pay this municipality tax, you have to pay the water tax. So all these taxes you have to pay. So how much amount of the taxes that you are paying. And so one is trading across the borders. So if you are manufacturing so and so product here, and if you want to send that product to so and so other state, so how many borders you are crossing, and what are the documents that you have to you need when you want to go for interstate trade, and what is the cost of that, what is the time for the exports and imports, etc. It is also one important parameter. And this one is enforcing contracts. So if you want to come with contracts, so what is the procedure, whether it is easy or not, whether there is any dispute resolution or not. And next one is resolving insolvency. Okay, so how much time you are taking to resolve that so and so dispute, and how much amount you are spending on that for the lawyers, and what's the recovery rate, okay, and what is the bankruptcy proceedings. Okay, so these are some indicators. So let me know what is the recent India's rank in this ease of doing business. So let me know in the comment box, don't forget about this. And next topic I collected from this down to earth. So this is regarding Pacific bluefin tuna stock to rebound sooner than expected due to global conservation efforts. Yes, if you're talking about climate change, so due to this climate change, there is some negative impact on this wildlife. Already we know that, correct? So there is evidence that yes, we are taking some conservation efforts. So conservation efforts is not only taken by one single country, but all countries, they are coming together and they are taking conservation efforts, especially to save our planet Earth. So here this is one example that what is the result of conservation. So title says that it is about Pacific bluefish tuna. So it is saying that so because of some efforts taken by the countries like US, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Mexico, they are mainly focusing on how to control this overfishing that reaped results now. So here, because of this conservation efforts on this overfishing, so the biomass of Pacific bluefin tuna had been increased, okay, and is the second highest in the recorded history. So I want to share you one important initiative, that is a maritime surveillance initiative. So this maritime surveillance initiative, it is by the Singapore, India and some Pacific related countries. So they created tracking system for illegal, unregulated, unreported fishing in this Indo-Pacific region. So in this way here, there were number of steps or initiatives taken by the countries, especially to focus on this conservation. And next one here is, if you are talking about some facts regarding this Pacific bluefin tuna fish, it is a predatory species of tuna and it is mainly found in this northern Pacific Ocean region, but actually it is a migratory fish, and it is also sometimes seen in this southern Pacific region as well. And this is the image of that tuna fish, and it will be like silver color. And next topic, it is about more women are making a career in science. So this topic, it is about women empowerment, and you can add the data that you are going to discuss now in the essays regarding women empowerment and also regarding your mains answer. So this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under society. So now let us try to see this topic in detail. So recently data which released by Department of Science and Technology, and it talks about women scientists from past 2 decades. So this finding says that women among researchers, they had been increased from 13.9% to 18.7%. So from 2015 to 2018, yes, there is increasing of women participation in this scientist. And good number of participation of women is also seen in this postgraduate level also. And women in this health sector had been increased. And if you're talking about on one side, it says that yes, women are coming forward and women empowerment is happening, but is it real or reality? On reality, if you see the Global Gender Gap Report of 2018, India's ranking is 108 out of 149. So here we can say that yes, gender gap is still persistent in India. And in 2019 All India Survey on Higher Education, so this says that female participation in these PG courses or doctoral level courses, it is very low, because women after certain age, so they will be get married. So after getting married, so they have to stay in a house and they should look after their families, and they are the missions, I can say they are the machines of generating the babies. Okay, they are considered like that even in the present society, it is evident. And also they have to focus on the family planning, etc. And even female, they face issues of the loneliness and male domain society, in we can say patriarchal society that is present. And next one here is, what are the measures taken by the government for especially for the women empowerment? Yes, government came with a number of schemes. For example, Science, Technology and Innovation Policy 2020, and it is targeting about 30% of women in the postdoctoral courses by 2030. And government came with a GUTI, it is by the Department of Science and Technology, and they are focusing on the enrollments of women. Okay, and next one here is Athens Swans Charter, and this framework, which is mainly used across the globe, especially to support gender equality regarding this higher education and in the research. And next one is Kiran, that is a knowledge involvement in research advancement through nurturing scheme, and they are encouraging especially the women scientists. And next one is Curie. Okay, and next one is STEM. Okay, so these are some important things that you have to focus. Already the video is lengthy and I crossed my target of 50 minutes. So let us fast see these mains practice questions and prelims practice questions. So mains practice question here is, counting more women in science and applied technologies is dire for the progress of society, discuss. And next one here is, rampant development of mountain areas over the years has upset the sensitive ecological balance of Himalayas. Illustrate means you have to give examples. Okay, it is regarding ecology versus development topic. It is yesterday's editorial. And today's prelims practice question is, which of the following is or beneficiaries under this ICDS? First one is children, yes, below the years of 0 to 6. Next one is pregnant women and lacting women. Yes, these three. Answer is correct. Option is D, 1, 2, 3. And vocabulary is latency. Latency means the delay before the transfer of data begins. And this one is chauffeur means driver. Sex ratio, it is nothing but the ratio of females to males in the population. So I want to make a small announcement. We in Rathod size, we came up with this prelims test series. And in this test series, we are providing 30 tests, which includes both GS and as well as CSAT. So this series is very important to know whether you are in a good way or good direction or not, whether you are in a correct direction or not. So you can take this test series and you can try many methods like elimination methods and as well as guessing methods. In such a way, you can come up with your own analysis in which areas you are strong and which areas you are weak. So in this way, this test series is very helpful to clear your upcoming prelims. So try to join this test series, and the cost here is just 3,000 rupees for 30 tests for 1 year. And the details of this courses are given in the description box, and you can visit our website rathodsisacademy.com for the courses that we are offering, like foundational course, individual courses like geography, history, like that. And if you have any query, you can call me on this number 8074765513. Okay, so now let us try to see the today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our Hindu, and I will be just reading out the headlines which are important from our UPSC point of view. So first one is regarding Supreme Court may hear plea against remission of this Bilkis Bano case. I discussed this topic. And this one, it is regarding government amend Supreme Court judges rules. So I discussed this topic. You can leave the city page. In the city page, you can see women just shouldn't stop dreaming. So this is the one case study that you can add in your ethics and even in your women empowerment related answer. And next one here, it is about organ donation. So here you have to know which organs can be donated and within which time limit. So this will be very important from your prelims. And this one here is minor Muslim girl can marry without consent on attaining puberty. So this topic is also very important. And if you move forward here in this editorial page, so I discussed about this topic regarding Bilkis Bano case, and I want to give you one homework. It is this topic. So if you have time, you can read this topic. And next topic is regarding this 5G rollout. I discussed this topic. And I also discussed about this All India Federation, Football Federation topic in yesterday's lecture. and I also discussed about this freebies topic number of times. And if you move forward in this text and context, there is one article regarding Chabahar port I discussed I think day before yesterday's lecture, and I discussed about this Huawei Chinese company article. And if you move forward in this news page, 10 page, there is one article regarding IAF sacks 3 officers in missile firing case. So whenever they fired this missile, that is BrahMos missile, it landed 124 kilometers inside Pakistan. So here you have to know about the facts regarding this BrahMos that will be important from your prelims. And here I discussed about the sex ratio article, and there is one article that is technology companies vary of law on digital competition. So you can go through this article once. And if you move on, here you can see DRDO, Indian Navy test indigenous missile. So here you have to focus on what is this vertical launch short range surface to air missile. So that topic is important. And in this world page here you can see Iran dropped some of its key demands for this nuclear pact. It is regarding Iran's nuclear deal or joint comprehensive plan of action. I discussed this topic number of times. And if you move forward, there is one article that is trade gap to taper goods may hit $480 billion exports. And next one here is overseas investment can top limit with not. So these are some important articles that you have to refer other than the topics I discussed in this analysis. So I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So if you're new to this Rathod Science Academy, so please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so that you will be getting notification whenever we are uploading the video. And if you really like this video, hit the like button and share this video to your friends also. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much and have a great day.